All right, what's up, guys? Today we have the YouTube creator behind the channel Improvement Pill, and we're going to extract his wisdom today and learn about who he is. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. Who are you? And could you give us a brief overview of, where you come from and what you do?
All right, guys. Hi, my name is Richard. I am the founder of Improvement Pill. I come from the concrete jungle, New York City, and I've been doing coaching for a couple of years now.
Okay, wonderful. So you've mentioned to me a bit about starting a company, and you've got some experience in sales. So how did you get into sales and basically starting your own company at such a young age as well?
Yeah, so I was like many people in the world, from a very young age. I was told to go to elementary school, to study hard to get into a good middle school, to study hard to get into a good high school, to study hard to get into a good college. So I spent first 17, 18 years of my life just studying my ass off. And when I finally got to college, I realized that, all this studying hasn't really improved me as a person very much. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. My major was economics and psychology at the time. It was something that, it made my parents happy because I was the first person in my family to pursue a college degree. So it was a big deal, just having a degree. So I was a sophomore and I realized, I don't really have passion for anything. I was always a little bit naturally smart, so I wouldn't go to classes. I would study like a day before the test, get like a B+, and just cruise line pass with like a 3 GPA. So I decided, all right, I'll take a semester off, just one semester off. It doesn't really hurt. Your grades still stay the same. The scholarship stays the same. So I said, why not? And my parents were like, okay, no problem, go for it. So I decided to take off, and I immediately went on Craigslist to look for a job. And there's not that many jobs you could get out there when you have no qualifications whatsoever, except for like sales, because anyone can do sales theoretically. So I entered this sales company in the Bronx, and they taught me a bunch of stuff. We went through a training program, and before I knew it, I was knocking on doors in the Bronx, and the Bronx is considered the hood of New York City.
Wow. And
here I was, this little kid who just went to college, all this stuff, and I'm in the hood with low-income housing people selling services door to door. And I've always been very competitive in whatever I did, grades, games, anything. I always wanted to be the best. So I saw it as a game. My parents didn't like it because they're like, oh, you're going to get shot, blah, blah, blah. There's crack addicts everywhere. And I was like, no, this is fun. This is a challenge for me. Not only will I make money, but I'll also improve on my social skills. Because before I got into the sales thing, when I was in college, I decided to get into self-development. Because I didn't have that many friends in high school. I wasn't the most popular kid. But I saw people and I read stories about people who dramatically changed their lives. And I said, hey, if these guys can do it and they say anyone can learn it, I can learn it too. So I saw it as a training experience, because every door you knocked on, you get to put on a new face. You get to put on a new interaction. And if you can charm them, if you can seduce them, convince them, they'll let you into their house and they'll buy your product.
Okay, and so what were the biggest challenges you faced, and was it more of a social thing? Was it
you mean during the job or like
during the job, your sales?
During job?
Yeah.
Okay, it's simple. Frankly, nobody likes a salesman. Salesmen have it the hardest because when you knock on your door, the consumer automatically knows that you're trying to get something from them. So out of all social interactions in the world, salesmen probably have the hardest time. We have the highest rejection rates.
Wow.
If you knocked on, it's like 95% of people would just scream at you, yell at you. They would call the cops on you.
Wow.
They would chase you out of the building.
Yeah, and you were doing this in the Bronx too, you know, where the area's, I don't know, a
Yeah.
bit shady or how to describe it. So that's, you know, that's
Very
adding
shady.
another variable to it. That's crazy. Because I know I had a, you know, salesman come to my door the other day and I just said, sorry, no thank you, because, you know, I knew I was expecting something. So did you actually learn any techniques or methods to, in that first few seconds, to hold someone's attention? Did you learn anything like that? Any strategies?
Yeah. My favorite one was I just make jokes. Because
Right.
during the first 5 seconds of the interaction, you have to put on an act. You have to convince someone that, you know, you're not intimidating, you're a good person, you're a person too, and you have to interest them to continue talking with you. So I would just do jokes. If it was like a Spanish person, I would just say I would say weird things like, hola mi amor, me llamo Ricardo. Like stuff like that. Just like I would shoot the shit with them. And when they
Wow.
see like, oh, this like little kid is in my hood, dressed up in a suit, and he's just making jokes, they don't slam the door in your face. Because at that point, I haven't asked anything from them yet. You know, I haven't said, hey, would you like to buy so and so? At that point, first 30 seconds, first minute, I'm just joking around, making them smile, making them laugh. Building rapport instantly is the most important thing when it comes to that initial interaction. And another trick I would do is I got really good at this because a big part of a sale is going inside a person's house. You're not going to sell anyone at the door because there's literally a physical barrier between you and the person.
Right.
There's a door, right? So what I would do is, since I sold communication services, I would be like, blah, 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 blah. Hey, do you happen to have a remote? And then, you know, it's such a minor request. They'll be like, yeah. And then I'll be like, can I see it? And they'll be like, okay. So they'll bring me the remote. I'll take the remote and I'll just walk into the house and I'll take off my shoes.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it's literally the foot in the door technique where you ask them for something small and then you ask them for something bigger.
Wow.
And so another technique is that's also part of what I just explained is called the leading with action technique, where you don't have to say anything. You just assume that someone is going to let you do something, and by holding that frame, people will just let you do it. So I was walking into the houses of like grown men, like crack addict houses with like there's drugs on the table and stuff, and they would just let me walk in.
Incredible.
No problem. I would just walk in, plop on their couch, turn on their TV, and start talking about TV.
What?
Yeah, it's you know how they say fake it till you make it. This is I never believed it that much until I started doing this job.
Didn't anyone like get intimidated and start trying to beat you up or something? Or
No, I'm like I was 18.
right.
I was young. I was very young.
Wow. But I mean, even like an 18-year-old just coming into your house, like wouldn't anyone like freak out or anything? Or
Nope, nothing. I got nothing. And remember, these guys are like considered.
okay.
These were low income housing. These these
Sure.
people made less than $12,000 a year. They were
Sure.
poor people. They were like ghetto people.
Ah, okay, I see. And yeah, that's something
Yeah.
I and maybe many others haven't quite experienced what the culture is sort of like over there. So
No, they're
yeah.
if anything, they're more aggressive. But what I'm trying to say is that if you fake it, you can make it anywhere.
Incredible. Okay, fantastic. All right, so moving on. So did this eventually lead you to creating your own company?
Yeah. So in 6 months, I was the top salesman in the entire Bronx region. The telecommunication company was like, "Hey, who is this guy? We want him to be a trainer instead of, a salesman." So I started training people to do sales. And that's where my passion of teaching came about, because a lot of people who came into the office were, high school dropouts, people who just graduated college, never had a job before, and I was able to mold each and every single one of them into a killer salesman. Yeah.
Wow.
So I did that for a while, and then everyone under my jurisdiction, the team that I had, we became the #1 team in the Northeast region for an entire winter. And this was a big feat, because the winters are considered the hardest times of the year to sell, because it's snowing, it's freezing outside. It's hard to convince and motivate people to go outside and knock on doors. And once I did that for a while and I was consistent, the telecommunication company, they offered me to expand out of the Bronx into another region, into Queens. So they said, okay, we're going to have you take over all of Queens. That means you're gonna have to branch off from this office. You're gonna have to open up your own office wherever you want, wherever you think would be a good location to make the headquarters. And they suggested Wall Street. So at the age of 19, I opened up my first company office in Wall Street. And I was in charge of about 15 people doing sales all over the Queens area.
Wow.
I did that for a couple of months, and then I realized, hey, I'm working a lot of hours, and I no longer saw the job as a learning experience, because the first half year I was having fun learning, but at the point of owning my company on Wall Street, and I had to deal with all the back end issues, the compliance issues, and I was just like,
yeah,
this isn't something I'm passionate about. The money is good. The money is very good.
Yeah.
I never made that much money in my life, especially since I was 19, but I've also never worked that many hours in my life. I was working 12, 14-hour days.
Yeah.
Like 6-7 days a week.
So is this sort of what led you into some of the ideas you express on your channel, Improvement Pill, where, you know, time and money, they sort of go hand in hand? Is that sort of what led you to this YouTube channel that you run?
Definitely. One of the main reasons I decided to run the channel was because I found a passion of teaching people, and also I have enough experience having talked to 10, 20,000 people on the streets. I not to brag, but I kind of get how interactions between people work, so it is my area of expertise.
Yeah, brilliant. But where are you planning to take this channel and your teaching efforts over the next couple of years? Where do you see yourself?
Well, I believe that everyone has like a purpose in this world, and I honestly do believe that my purpose is to help others become better versions of themselves, because it wasn't too long ago that I was a dweeby little high school kid, with 2 signatures in his yearbook, not being able to make any friends, and over the course of maybe 4 or 5 years, I developed into this guy that a lot of people say, hey, you're like the most confident guy I know. I love working with men and women around the world, transforming them from people who have, they think they can't accomplish anything. They think they don't have the skills. They think they're not born with the ability. I like working with these people and transforming their lives into these confident people, because it's just bringing happiness to these people. Everyone wants to help the world. Some people donate to charities. I feel like this is my way of giving back to the world, teaching others how to become the best versions of themselves.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. It's good that you've sort of found, something you're so passionate about at such a young age too, because, there's a lot of 40-year-olds out there still lost and they have no idea what they want to do. So it's really cool to hear that. Well, there's one last thing I want to ask you. We'll end it on this. So what's your opinion on going to college? Now, is it worth it? What's your view on that? Is it worth going, for 4 years and spending $100K, on this thing? Like, is it worth it? What do we do? It's 2016.
I think, I believe it was Warren Buffett, who said something along the lines of, it was either him or the other guy. What's that other
Jim
investor?
Rohn?
I forgot his name. Not Jim Rohn. There's famous investor. He's on Shark Tank all the time.
Mark Cuban?
Yes, Mark Cuban. It was either him or Mark Cuban, and they were basically saying like, okay, give me a situation where you're investing $80,000 in a project and it takes about 4 years, and when you finish that project, you don't gain any money, and all you gain is a title. Tell that to any businessman and they'll laugh at you and they will not invest in that project. And that's what they feel college is about. Now, I'm not going to say that college is not a necessity. There's certain fields that you need to go to college for. Medical field,
right? Engineering
field, chemical field. You have to go to college for those things. But certain fields, like people who take business degrees or I guess mainly business degrees or sociology degrees or liberal arts degrees, people who aren't 100% sure of what they want to do as a career path, they should not go to college, because you're gonna waste 4 years of your life. You're gonna waste a lot of money. A lot of my friends are in debt, and they have the same jobs that my friends who never went to college have. Yeah, a lot of them are just jumping around. A lot of them are saying like, hey, I just want to save up money and start a business. Well, you didn't have to go to college to do that. You could have started that whole process 4 years earlier, and you would have a whole lot of money in your bank instead of being in debt, which will take you another 5 to 10 years to pay off that debt.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your view on that. And I think we'll end it there. So, thanks for coming. And sharing your wisdom. It's been great. So for those watching, I'll put a link to Richard's channel, Improvement Pill. And yeah, I hope you enjoy his videos over there.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, too easy. Cheers.